Are we live yet? Am I live? Let's see. Live. Good. Last video I made I intended to talk about open source licenses and selecting one, and also showing how I create these Livestream notes. All I really did was the second, just show how I use org static blog and GitHub pages to create these notes. So now I'm going to work on the first part that I intended to get to yesterday, which is choosing an open source license. Not a very interesting topic to me. I put in the minimum amount of effort and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to read my notes. So let's start, and we'll bounce around to a few other websites too. Okay, so yes, it's time to put up the source. Let's zoom in. It's time to put up the source code for my project on GitHub repo, including instructions, and I talked about that yesterday. You can get by the bare minimum with Clang and SBCL, but it won't be a very pleasant experience without Emacs and one of the Lisp IDEs, either Sly or Slime. Okay, two major categories of licenses. Unfortunately, I must release the code under some sort of open source license because I prefer that my work isn't stolen, among other reasons. In today's stream, I'll compare various licenses. Code Academy gives us a good starting point. And let's read the quote, and then I'll go to Code Academy. And well, let's open it up. Open like a new tab. No, that's my tab. Okay, so it's choosing an open source license. The page is published by Code Academy, and they break it down into two categories and break down all licenses, although it's not really clear what category some of the licenses I looked at fall into. Copyleft and permissive. So most licenses fit into one of two broad categories: copyleft or permissive licenses. Depending on how you want other people to use your project, you can narrow your choice down to one of these two categories. Copyleft license requires that any modified version of an open source project also be released under the same license as the original project. And a permissive license, different from copyleft in that they do not put restrictions on people modifying or redistributing a project. So I'm selecting copyleft. How many licenses are out there? Wikipedia's comparison of free and open source software licenses has a 41-row table comparison. Let's take a look at that. Here's the table. And now, so normal, okay. Okay, there. It's freezing the first row. So there's the table, and they have, it's in alphabetical order, and they have different, the versions, the publication date, who wrote it. They define these. Linking is when you use the code as well, how do they define it? Linking of the license code with code license under a different license, I would assume that means as a static or dynamic library. Distribution, can you modify it? Patent grant. Protection of licensees from patent claims made by code contributors regarding. Okay, I'm not really terribly concerned with that at this point because this is a very small project. As it stands right now, it's less than 1,600 source lines, non-blank. Private use. Well, let's see. Let's look under the yes. Okay. This is more comprehensive than what I use to select a license. Sub-licensing, and I guess that means trademark grant. Use of trademarks associated with license code or its contributors by a licensee. I'm not going to get into that. Okay, but anyways, the point is that there are far too many licenses to choose from, including some that aren't even licenses, such as the unlicensed. Okay. So what do I want? Okay, like I said, very unlikely that anyone will steal the code for this tiny little project and close source it for profit. But it's a good idea to be aware of the major open source licenses should you contribute to or create a larger project. Here are my preferences. Number one, no one can make any money off my work or any work derived from it. Why should they? So it's my stuff. Number two, no one can take my work, modify it even slightly, and not credit me. I will get into that in just a moment. 3, my original work and anything derived from it must always be available in source form. Okay, so how do they stack up? So I went to here's how I chose. Choose an open source license and license as two pages on the same website. It was put up by GitHub. So they help you choose an open source license. So you look at this and what describes your situation? I need to work in a community. I want it simple and permissive. I care about sharing and improvements. Well, I don't want to work in a community, and I don't want anybody to just take what I have and do whatever they want with it without making it public. I guess I care about sharing and improvements. I'm not clicking on these because it kind of like just sort of says, oh, you should choose that one. It really only gives you 3 choices from this page. What if none of these work for me? My project isn't software, there are other licenses for that. I want more choices, more licenses are available. I believe that's this. Okay, so I'm going to go through these. They have a nice side-by-side comparison. Of the different conditions, permissions, limitations of each. From most restrictive all the way down to this thing, which is least restrictive. And I summarized that in a table. So at the top, there's GNU, Afro, which is also called AGPL version 3. Falls under copy left. Criteria satisfy 2 and 3. Well, does it really satisfy 2? No one can take my work, and I don't have an answer for that right now, but I would like credit for somewhere. So I'll have to skim through the text of this and the others that I believe satisfy 2 and 3. These 3. So, okay. So I believe at the time, right now, I'm not. I'm not. I mean, these things are very hard to read. The actual text. So if we were to go here, view the full license and preamble. Okay, I can read that. The licenses for most software and other practical works are designed to take away your freedom. By contrast, our licenses are intended to guarantee your freedom. Okay, so they're making some sort of generic statement. My eyes are glossing over already. And so it's this big, long, I don't know how many paragraphs. And maybe I'll read it, I guess. But it's not that important to me. And I seriously, okay. So I believe 2 and 3 are satisfied by the Afro GPL, and then just the ordinary GPL v3. Let's go back here. So the Afro GPL, considers network use to be distribution. So what users who interact, what is that? Oh, good, they have a little pop-up. Condition, users who interact with the licensed material via a network are given the right to receive a copy of the source code. Well, my game does use X window. I suppose it could be over network. Maybe. I don't know how sound would work, but the graphics. So some of it could be used over the network conceivably, although you'd be insane to actually try that. That's AGPL, which is a superset, I believe, of GPL v3. And let's look at GPL v3. I'll read this paragraph. Permissions of this strong copyleft. Okay. So they've so people have, there's strong copylefts and there's weak copylefts or permissive copy and so on. Are conditioned on making available a complete source code of licensed works and modifications, which includes larger works under the licensed works. So in other words, anything that this touches, if anything that if you have, if your code is GPL v3, then and somebody decides to use your code, they have to use this license as well. It's my understanding. Under the same license, copyright and license notices. So let's read this again. Permissions of this strong copyleft license are conditioned on making available complete source code of licensed works and modifications, which include larger works under licensed works under the same license. So it's a virus. LGPL v3. Let's go down here to the table. Again, copy left. 2 and 3 are satisfied, although LGPL v3 allows closed source software to use your work as long as your source code is published and this closed source software uses your software through whatever interfaces are provided, e.g. Public functions in a shared object library. That's kind of okay with me. And then we have the others. Again, I'm just going through the summary. Mozilla public license, what type is it? I don't know. It wasn't obvious from reading this. Weak copy, they call it a weak copy left, condition on making available source code of license files and modifications of those files under the same license. Copyright notices must be preserved. Contributors provide an express grant of patent rights. However, a larger work using the licensed work may be distributed under different terms and without source code. So that doesn't sound like copyleft to me at all. So I just put a question mark. Conditions satisfied, none. Apache license, it's permissive. I don't really care. You can go to the site and read those. MIT license, I guess people like that because it is just short. How short is it? Let's take a look. Three paragraphs. Boost, well, whatever. I don't even want the word boost in my project because C++, that's why. And the unlicensed, what is it? I don't know. No conditions, and so on. So conclusion. Any project that uses a GPL-v3 or GPL-v3 license source code is bound to the same terms. AGPL is the most restricted of the two, so I'm choosing that. Excuse me. Now that I have that taken care of, I can move on to more interesting topics. I will use AGPL v3 and never think about it again. That's all I have to say about this. So if you watch this, thanks for watching. And I will have another stream soon. We'll get back to finishing up, hopefully, sound.c. Or maybe something else. I would like, one other thing that I would like to cover is, let's see, I have, a color theme, the dark color theme, which is a bit of a mess, and maybe cleaning this up. So I need to research what all this junk means here. When you use color theme set faces. I don't know what inherit means exactly. I don't know what that little T means. I know what T means in Lisp, but I don't know why it's there. And I've just kind of monkeyed around with this over the years. And at the top, I have a bunch of variables, which are, I'm trying to make things generic and oops, keyboard. And so that, how do I put this? Let's do this. List faces display. Okay, so we go over here, and we have 4, line 4, and then line 722. So that's 618 lines. 618, 619. 600. I'm sorry, 698. No, 718. I can't do arithmetic in my head. I'm sorry. Not while I'm talking. They're just all over the place. And I believe that could probably come up with some categories, and every one of these down here would fall into some sort of category. And that way things would be simpler. It'd be simpler to change this. It'd be simpler to make another theme. Not that I want to. And as far as themes go, my preference is so you don't go with mono, because mono is an experiment where it goes through every single face that's been loaded and initialized, or initialized, loaded, whatever, and makes it white on black. But if you look at these other themes, Leuven dark. Okay, if you look at these other themes, they're just too colorful for me. Let's open a C file. I don't need that many colors. What do all these colors mean? I don't know. So try another one. Here. Better, but this is going to burn my eye sockets out after, I don't know, 15 minutes of using it. Adwaita, I guess that's how you pronounce that. I can just tell right here that I don't like it. Deeper blue. Okay, and so on and so on. So I just like, there are, I don't even know where I am. There, back to sanity. I just like a minimal amount of colors. And it's practically impossible. It's practically impossible in Emacs to turn off all the colors in when you use the GTK version of Emacs. In the terminal mode, it's possible. You can do it. Let me expand. You can do it that way. Set faces. Oh no. Let's see. Oh, there we go. There we go. Right there. So you go through the face list and you set the foreground to white and the background to black. Let's try it. Let me show you what it looks like. Okay. That's what it looks like. Oh, look, it kind of looks cool, I guess. But there are problems. Like for instance, I don't have a highlight here on my mini buffer. So I guess that's sound.c. A little bright, but whatever. For me, the mark. So that one line of code could be a starting point. And here, this is a starting point. And then what I did in this mono theme was I allowed some variations. I call it face tweaks. And maybe that's the route I'll take. I'm just tired of monkeying around with this. You should be able to tell Emacs I don't want any font lock, any colors in the graphical version, and it should give you some reasonable defaults. And this doesn't work. Also, the reason this won't work is because if you load a package and after running this, if you load a package that sets some faces to something garish, well, you're just stuck with them. This really doesn't solve the problem. Okay. Maybe next time. Okay, so thank you again for watching. Apologies for the digression on fonts and colors and things like that. And I don't have anything more to add about open source licenses. If anybody has anything to add, just leave a comment. Thank you.